Shalom, my dear friends. I wanted to share something that I felt was very crucial to understand. It was in my head since Shavuot, and it's still knocking on my soul to share with you. First of all, the video should be a thought for the Hatufim that it should be freed as soon as possible. And there should be a merit from my Rebbe's Refuah Shlema. And Rav Simcha Levi Yosef Galiza B'Shena Chana B'Zor Shach Ole Amo Yisrael. And for all the soldiers who have been injured, that they should have Refuah Shlema. And all the families who need Refuah from the trauma. Okay, so this is what I wanted to share with you. We learned the laws of conversion and on marriage too, from Har Sinai. And the idea is that we have for 7 weeks, Sfiras HaOmer, 7 weeks before Shavuot, a preparation. We count every day a different Sfira, a different midah, and on Shavuot we are ready finally to receive the Torah, to connect to Torah, to become one with the Torah, with Hashem. It's something very strange, because when someone converts to Judaism, I have the honor to prepare many individuals to go towards their conversion, and what the regular way that a convert is taught to prepare for the Torah is usually to teach them all the mitzvot, so that they know how to join the Jewish life and be ready to accept the Torah fully, knowing all the mitzvos that they are to do as a Jew. And something struck me, that it's strange that when we ourselves get ready for Shavuot, we are not learning the mitzvot and preparing as a preparation to receive the Torah. What we do, we worked every day on changing a midah, on preparing for a midah, or change our character traits, which would seem to contradict the way we teach Gering, or maybe the way we should teach those who are converted really is really the way as Sfiras HaOmer, meaning that we should teach them the midos that the Torah requires of us. We should learn really character traits for all the time, and then when we have worked on our character traits, then we're ready to receive the Torah on Shavuot. Or we're ready to convert to Judaism. So how come we don't do that with converts? Or maybe we do, but it depends really the way a convert is taught to as a preparation. To explain a bit better, we have, as we know, the Spheros, and we have the 7 lower Spheros. And during the 7 weeks of Sfiras HaOmer, we count Chesed Shebechesed, Chesed Shebegvura. One doesn't need to be a Kabbalist. One needs to know what each midah represents, each character trait, and then go in details. And when we have finished, so to speak, completed the 7 midos, the 7 lower character traits, the 7 spheros, we have prepared a vessel, a keli, ready to receive the Torah, which the 3 upper spheros is really the ones connected to the mind, and we're ready to receive the Torah. At that point, the intellectual and spiritual gift that Hashem wants to give us. But for this, we need to lower the body, the emotions, the desires to be controlled and purified to for the body to receive the head, basically. So, what I'm trying to convey here is that really the way we should prepare converts the right way would be that we should teach them all those 7 midos, that the midos are really the foundation, and we know Derech Eretz Kadma Torah, and we know that the way to receive the Torah, like the way Rabbi Chaim Vital, that's how in Shari Kedusha explains, in order to achieve Kedusha, to come close to Hashem, and to connect to the mitzvahs, we need to work on our character traits, and our character traits would be the foundations for the mitzvahs to work and to be activated. So really what's happening is that our mitzvot really are just an extension of our midos, meaning that the midos are the real foundation of the Torah. Right? Hashem doesn't care how many mitzvot you do, how much you learn, if it doesn't change you, if you don't become a refined human being. The goal is Hashem wants you to be a role model for the world, someone who is refined to such a level that every action he does has an impact, because the more refined you are, the more pure you are, the more you have an impact on the world. And interesting that and in the Musaf, in the Sfari Siddur, we read after Musaf, the Mishnah on Makos Chav Gimel, we say Rabbi Hanania ben Akasha Omer Ratza Kadosh Baruch Hu lezakot et Israel. Hashem wanted to zakot, so the different ways to translate. Some people translate as to give merit, zechut, to give merit upon Israel. But there's another way to read it, is zakah, meaning to refine and purify Israel. Lefichach, and therefore, lefichach hirba lahem Torah mitzvot. He gave them Torah mitzvot, a lot of Torah and a lot of mitzvot. Shenemar Hashem chafetz man tzidku yagid Torah v'yadir. So, why did Hashem give you the mitzvot? Saying He gave you the mitzvot for you to get married, but He gave you so many mitzvot. You know why? Because those mitzvot are supposed to purify you, like we said before, like Rabbi Chaim Vital spoke about. The whole point of the mitzvah you do is to expand your midos, meaning that when you do a mitzvah, it's supposed to teach you how to work on chesed, or how to expand your chesed. When you do a mitzvah, it's teach you how to work on gvura and tiferes. So the mitzvahs as the foundation, that's the key. The key is to be a better person, enhance your character trait. And every mitzvah that we're given, the 613 mitzvot, take that midah, that character trait, and give you a way to expand, to understand that midah and expand it, so that you become a person, more chesed, more gvura, so that you can fix those 7 lower parts, energy, gifts, character traits that we have. So how do we learn to do that? So we learn on Sukkos about the 7 Ushpizim, right? So in the Torah, the reason we have the 7 shepherds, it's not just it's nice, the 7 shepherds, and they're good people. No, they were teaching us the foundation of the character traits, and we learned from them the mitzvahs they did to become that midah. So Avram corresponds to Chesed. We learned all the mitzvahs, so to speak, that Avram was doing, how he expanded his midah of Chesed, of love. Yitzchak taught us about Gvura, the ability that he had to, in Aketat Israel, to have a total control of himself. We learned from him about how to become a man or woman of Gvura. Then we have Tiferes with Yaakov. Then we have Moshe, who teaches Netzach. Then we have Hod, that corresponds to Aaron HaKohen, the Avodat Hashem, the Beis HaMikdash, Aaron. We have Yesod, which correspond to Yosef HaTzadik, and then we have Malchus, which correspond to David HaMelech. So, what's very special here, and this is the message I'm trying to convey here. My mission as a Jew is for my character trait to become enhanced at the level that when a non-Jew or a Jew or anyone who sees me acting the way I'm acting in the world, say, wow, I never saw a chesed like that. I never saw gvura like that. I never saw someone with so much tiferes. And say, how did you learn to do that? How did you learn to be such a refined human being? Well, because I learned from my mitzvot how to be refined. And how did you learn from the mitzvot? Where did that come from? It comes from Matan Torah, from the book, the Torah that was given to humanity to learn how to refine ourselves. And the Torah contains all 613 mitzvot and the 7 Noachide laws, right? So we could call it 620 mitzvot, so to speak, for all of humanity, as Rav Yaakov Weinberg, Tzaddik Kadosh Libracha, that explained that the Torah is a book for humanity, to refine all of humanity, because the mission is to elevate all the nations of the world, the 70 nations, to recognize Hashem and the Jewish people as his people, as the role model. So what's happening here is that those are the 7 traits that we're trying to enhance. Chesed, right, which is love. We're trying, what we want to do is, each time I do a mitzvah, I need to ask which one of the 7 character traits is this mitzvah teaching me how to refine this specific character trait. So this chesed is love, is Avraham Avinu. How do I know how to love more in the world? Yitzchak Gvura is, how do I learn how to create boundaries? How do I learn how to control myself? Ezeu Gibor HaKofesh es Yitzro. How do I learn to control my desires better? Number 3, and I'm using translation from my Rebbe and from Rabbi Y.Y. Jacobson in terms of the midas. There's different ways to translate what the midah each is, but that's the way I think it is the most clear and simple way to explain it. But if you learn about Sfiras HaOmer and how each midah is translated as you can use your own translation, but there's the basic understanding that is usually given. So love with Avram, controlling, creating boundaries, knowing limits, having self discipline. That's Yitzchak. Yaakov is learning to have empathy. And be in harmony with the world, be balanced. Number 5, which is Netzach, number 4, So Yaakov is having empathy. Number 4 and 3 is empathy. Number 4 is Moshe Rabbeinu, Netzach, is being ambitious. Its victory is being reliable, being victorious, always fighting for something, that being stiff-necked, but in a good way, where I'm always fighting for something that I believe in, being loyal. In this Moshe Rabbeinu, fighting for his people at the sake of giving his life. Then we have Hod, which is Aaron HaKohen. Hod is learning to have gratitude, being grateful through one's Avodat Hashem. Then we have Yosef HaTzadik, which is learning how to communicate. How do I communicate better? How do I convey a message in the right way? So that's Yosef HaTzadik. Then we have Malchus David, which is how to be a leader, how to have being selfless, being humble, and have dignity. So those are the seven character traits that are that correspond to the seven spheres, that are the midos that are going to enable us to connect to the Torah of Hashem, to be a vessel to understand the Torah properly and to be one with Hashem and fix the world. Now the challenge is coming, and that's the whole point of the video. I know it might not have been as clear as I would have liked to, but the idea is now, hear me out, this is the ultimate idea. The ultimate idea is that every mitzvah that you're going to do is here to enhance one of your character traits, one of the seven character traits. So really, the way we should do it is that, okay, I'm going to do the mitzvah of Shabbat. Which one of the character traits is the mitzvah of Shabbos going to help me work on? Right? So I could say, oh, it's going to help me become more like Aaron and work on my Hod. What's Hod? Is being able to be grateful, have gratitude, because I go through my whole week and that on Shabbat, I celebrate everything that I've learned, everything that was given by Hashem, all the gifts that Hashem wanted to give me during the week, and I'm celebrating with my family, with the kiddush, with wine, with the table. I'm celebrating everything that Hashem has given me. I'm becoming, when I keep Shabbat, I'm becoming more grateful. I'm becoming more Hod. I'm becoming more like Aaron. Let's take another example. So let's say the mitzvah of tefillin. So say which one of the midah, of the midos, of the seven midos, does my mitzvah of tefillin help me enhance? If I put tefillin, I'm going to be more like Avraham and Yitzchak. Avraham, Yitzchak, so we use the right and the left hand. As you see, the midos, the seven midos, correspond to a different part of the body, the 10 midos. And by the way, we know also when we say Shema, all the words from the Shema correspond to a different parts of the body, to 248 words, 248 parts of the body. And we know the mitzvahs themselves correspond to different parts of the bodies. 248 positive commandments for 248 organs of the body, and 365 negative commandments for 365 sinews and tendons of the body, veins. Rabbi Chaim Vital speaks about it in Shari Kedusha. And Rabbi Sefer Charedim connects actually every mitzvah to a different part of the body, and that's why when sometimes we're sick, we try to find a different part of the body. We try to find the mitzvah that corresponds to that part of the body, which makes much more sense now with midos, because the Rambam says actually in Shmona Prakim that when the real sickness are the sickness of the soul, and really technically, if our soul was not sick, our body will not become sick. Chaim Vital speaks about it too, Shari Kedusha. So, really what I'm trying to say is that clearly we understand from Chazal what Hashem wants to teach us is that I gave you a lot of mitzvos in order for you to refine yourself. There's seven character traits, seven main midos, which we count during Sfiras HaOmer, to prepare you to receive the Torah, prepare you to be one with Hashem. You need to be a role model for humanity on how to love, how to know boundaries, to have self-control, how to have being an empathic human being, how to be someone who always fight for the good, someone who is grateful, someone who knows how to communicate properly, someone who knows how to be a leader, humble, and have dignity. Therefore, all the mitzvahs you do, you should ask yourself, which midah is this mitzvah helping me? So I was going to say tefillin. The tefillin we take with the right hand, and I learn to control myself, and I know I need to control myself out of love. So I have to use my right hand, and I learn to control. I want to be strong. I want to be gvura. I'm going to control my desires connected to the heart. I need to know, okay, what is this desire about? So I control, like I'm tying Yitzchak Avinu. I'm controlling myself. So I'm using chesed and gvura, like Abraham, Yitzchak unite together, and I learn to control, okay, why am I feeling that? I need to pause and then go to my head, put the feeling of the head, and start thinking, okay, where is that desire coming from? And is it a good one or a negative one? And then when I'm done with that, I put the hand feeling to do or not to do the actions that I desired originally. So now you have a complete new, I hope, a complete new understanding of how we're supposed to do the mitzvot. For every mitzvah I do, I'm supposed to ask which one of the 7 character traits is it enhancing and how. So it is a real research that's going to teach you not to do the mitzvahs just like a robot. Oh, okay, I do this mitzvah. Great, you did this mitzvah. And then what? Okay, you're happy because you're going to have a point in Olam Haba. You're happy you did this mitzvah because, you do what Hashem asks you. But that's not what Hashem asks you, actually. He asks you to change. He asks you to be a role model for humanity. Mamleches Kohanim v'Goy Kadosh. How do you do that? Not just by doing mitzvos in a robotic way. Is by becoming people that act with purity, with sanctity, with refinement of character traits. That's why you have mitzvos. And that's how we're going to change ourselves. Because how many people, do tons of mitzvahs all day? They're very religious. They do mitzvahs, they look very religious, and they do a lot of mitzvahs. And they're very disgusting human being. And they hurt people. And they're not loving. And they're not respectful. And they're not understanding. And they don't help the Yisomim Valmanos and they don't love the Gerim, and they don't respect people. So how can you have people who do mitzvahs and act terribly? Very simple. Because they don't use the mitzvahs in a way that is going to expand the foundation, the 7 character traits. They don't use those mitzvahs and ask themselves, oh, how is this mitzvah going to help me become a better human being? So we all need to do that. And I don't want to forget, sometimes mitzvah is going to help you more than just one character traits. One mitzvah can help you work on all 7 character traits, which help us also understanding why in Sfira Somer we have chesed shebechesed, gvura shebechesed, tiferet shebechesed, because the midos are all intertwined, and sometimes there's much more than one character trait that works with others. Just like the parts of the body, in the one part of the body need the other part of the body, and it's going to teach us how to become better human being. So I'm sorry if I was not so clear, but I think that you get the message of what you need to do now. I'm doing this mitzvah. How is this mitzvah going to help me enhance these character traits? Because the mitzvah is only an extension of a character trait. As if to say, the only reason there's a mitzvah of tefillin is to help you work on your chesed and gvura. So if you do the mitzvah of tefillin and you don't understand how the mitzvah refinement is going to help you enhance chesed and gvura, then you're almost doing it in vain, chas v'shalom. You're not using it properly. You're missing out the power of the mitzvah, right? And that's why it's so tamia mitzvos. It's so important because you need to understand the reason, the taste of the mitzvah. Every mitzvah gives you a different approach on how to work on yourself. So we need to ask why we're doing, not in a way that, oh, I'm only going to do things that I understand. No, every mitzvah is like a chok anyway. But I need to understand all the reasons that Chazal give us about why we do this mitzvah, understanding from the Torah itself when that mitzvah comes and what this mitzvah is about and why it connects to this specific ushpizin of the seven avos, is to help us really understand what I can learn from this mitzvah to work on myself. All right, my friends, I hope now we have understanding or discovering a whole new way to be religious, which is the real way, not because I say it, because Chazal said everywhere. And that you don't, each time you do a mitzvah, at least each time you ask yourself, oh, which one of the 7 character traits, or which one of the 7 avos is this mitzvah connected, so I can, with time, try to, as I do the mitzvah, figure out, oh, when I do this mitzvah, by acting this way, it helps me become more grateful, more selfless, more loving. The ideal is eventually to make a chart, where almost like Sfiras HaOmer. So we're going to have the 613 mitzvos, and then the seven midos, and connect a line, at least one line, from the mitzvah to the midah. Okay, tefillin enhances chesed, davening enhances hod and chesed, because when you pray, you're sending love, you're learning to love the people you pray for. So, hatzlacha in doing this work, because I think if we understand the mitzvos that way, that the mitzvos are really just an extension of the midos to become more refined, will transform our Judaism very quickly, and we'll all be able to receive the Torah. Mitzion. Baruch Adonai L'olam, amen v'amen.